A rare crack has emerged inside Washington's war machine. Joe Kent, head of the National Counterterrorism Center, has resigned in the middle of the conflict with Iran, saying he cannot in good conscience support the war, marking a stunning internal revolt within the administration of Donald Trump. In his resignation letter, Kent directly challenged the war's foundation, claiming Iran posed no imminent threat to the United States. He alleged that American media, Israeli officials, and pro-Israel lobbying networks created a misinformation campaign that pushed Washington toward conflict, drawing comparisons to the Iraq War.
After much reflection, I have decided to resign from my position as director of the National Counterterrorism Center, effective today. I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. It has been an honor serving under a POTUS and DNI Gabbard and leading the professionals at NCTC.
The White House response was swift and blunt. President Trump publicly dismissed Kent's stance, doubling down on the administration's justification for the war and asserting that Iran was a clear and recognized threat that demanded action.
Mr. President, your Director of National Counterterrorism, Joe Kent, he just resigned today. He said he can't support your conflict with Iran. What's your reaction to that, and did you talk
Well, I read his statement. I always thought he was a nice guy, but I always thought he was weak on security, very weak on security. I didn't know him well, but I thought he seemed like a pretty nice guy. But when I read his statement, I realized that it's a good thing that he's out, because he said that Iran was not a threat. Iran was a threat. Every country realized what a threat Iran was. The question is whether or not they wanted to do something about it.
Senior Republicans backed Trump's stance. House Speaker Mike Johnson said intelligence briefings showed a clear imminent threat. Warning delay could have caused mass casualties. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said U.S. strikes followed Israel's actions and fears of retaliation against American forces, even as Democrats demand clarity, exposing deep fractures as the war enters its third week. United States-Iran war has driven a wedge between the world's biggest defense alliance, and they are not even hiding it anymore. NATO allies and EU have essentially dumped Trump on his recused, covered with a threat to West, to join the Iran war and secure Strait of Hormuz. US now faces fire two fronts, one from Iran's never-stopping missile barrage and other from their own allies. Here is what is happening. From Brussels to Berlin to London, the message is identical and blunt. This is not our war. EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas has made it clear there is no appetite to expand Europe's naval mission into the Strait of Hormuz. Europe wants trade routes open, but it does not want to fight America's war. Even as Iran squeezes 1/5 of the world's oil supply, Brussels is choosing sanctions over warships.
Iran is now waging war on global economy. Ministers reaffirmed today that our focus is de-escalation and also to the freedom of navigation. I also discussed with UN Secretary General Guterres and many others over the past days how to keep the Strait of Hormuz open. Europe has no interest in an open-ended war.
Germany has gone even further, openly questioning Trump's strategy. Defense Minister Boris Pistorius has asked what a handful of European frigates can achieve if the mighty US Navy itself cannot secure Hormuz. Berlin has ruled out any military participation, calling the conflict one it did not start. This is not hesitation. This is direct pushback against Washington.
What does the world expect? What does Donald Trump expect a handful or two handfuls of European frigates to achieve in the Strait of Hormuz that the powerful American Navy cannot manage alone?
France, meanwhile, is taking a calibrated position. President Emmanuel Macron says Paris is not at war with Iran and insists France's role remains purely defensive. Even as Trump claims Macron is likely to help, he admits France is not perfect. Paris is keeping the door open to coordination, but like the rest of Europe, it is avoiding direct military escalation in the Gulf.
Our soldiers were attacked while, as we have been doing for several years, they are fighting as part of an international coalition against the resurgence of terrorism in the region and in service of Iraqi sovereignty. This is obviously unacceptable. Faced with the ongoing war, France's position is purely defensive in support of its allies and can never justify any attack against it. France will continue to show composure, calm and determination, remain reliable towards our partners, protect our citizens and defend our interests and our security, and nothing ever will deter us from these objectives.
In London, Prime Minister Keir Starmer is walking a tightrope. He admits the crisis is hitting British households through soaring energy prices, but refuses to be dragged into a wider war. The UK is offering coordination, technology and planning, but not warships. The priority, Starmer says, is the cost of living, not another military entanglement.
Our priority is always the national interest, and so we have been clear and consistent in our objectives throughout this conflict. First, we will protect our people in the region. Second, while taking the necessary action to defend ourselves and our allies, we will not be drawn into the wider war. And third, we will keep working towards a swift resolution that brings security and stability back to the region and stops the Iranian threat to its neighbours.
And then comes Donald Trump, turning up the pressure. The US president says some allies are enthusiastic, others not so much. He admits he is not happy with the United Kingdom and is testing NATO's loyalty in real time. At the center of it all is the Strait of Hormuz, the world's most critical oil choke point. Iran is tightening its grip. Prices are surging, and NATO is no longer united. Europe is stepping back, Trump is pushing forward, and the alliance is now staring at a serious internal rupture.
So I was very upset with, not upset, I was not happy with the UK. I think they'll be involved, yeah, maybe. But they should be involved enthusiastically. We've been protecting these countries for years with NATO, because NATO is us. You can ask Putin. Putin fears us. He doesn't fear, he has no fear of Europe whatsoever. He fears the United States of America and the military that was built by me in the first term.